Okay, well, somehow my email address down there got a little bit cut off. So that's a .c followed by an O and an M. Okay, so I have a little bit more time than I thought. I was going to start off with a disclaimer that TurboPatent's starting to go away. We were acquired a little bit earlier this year by a company called Rowan Tells. It stands for Technology-Enabled Legal Services, which is really what I'm going to be talking about today, is the tech piece of what we do. So, who here has filed a patent before? Okay. How many of you guys have ideas that you think could be patentable? All right. A good handful of you guys. In the world, there was a little over 3 million patents that were filed. In the United States, that was 607,000. So IP, in the IP world, patents remain one of the best ways to protect an invention from those who might copy that for their own profit in the market. So it has a little bit of a delay. And then for companies, especially for a lot of you guys out here who are in tech startups and looking for rounds of funding, acquisitions, et cetera, us just having gone through them, patents are a very important way to increase the value of your funding and eventual acquisition or exit from the company. So what is Tech-Enabled Legal Services, or TELS, that we are now going to be branded as? If you can imagine what a patent lawyer might be or what the typical legal tech is, it's usually a guy that sits at his desk for 8 hours a day on a Word or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that and just types for the 8 hours, calls a couple of times, maybe makes some drawings. And that is archaic. I mean, we're all here right now for the tech purposes. We know that the world is advancing in the tech world, making things better. And the legal world tends to lag behind by about 20 years. So enter TurboPatent/Rowan. TurboPatent's purpose is to make the patent drafting process a lot easier and cheaper and ultimately a flat rate cost because we can eliminate a lot of the time that normally we would be unsure about going into it. So our services are better and cheaper than your average patent drafting. Higher quality patents and higher grant rates come out by reducing human error. That's usually part of the process. And cheaper being that there's less human time that's dedicated to the minutia that you would expect from working in a Word document for 8 hours a day. So the TurboPatent suite, or the Rowan suite, is sort of 4 different parts. We're really the only company that's out there right now that offers an end-to-end platform for patent drafting. There's a lot of point solutions out there, a lot of guys in their basement typing up on Word documents. But what we offer is from the idea conception all the way through patent granting. And with the acquisition of Rowan, we're able to help manage the IP portfolio post patent grant if you're looking to sell. We're getting into the world of, and this can come in a little bit later if anybody has questions, anti-counterfeiting world. Obviously, once you get a patent, it only does you so good if you can't enforce it. So the 4 different pieces of what we offer, and mind you that this is a platform, meaning that all of these tools are integrated. Each one of these are their own individual products, sort of targeted to that individual, whoever's working in the platform, but these are all integrated tools. So the first piece is Invention Capture. So this would be at the idea of conception. Inventors or lawyers are going to be talking amongst each other, figuring out, okay, we've got this product, what could be protected within this? Very rarely is it the entire architecture of your software. Very rarely is it going to be that one, big piece that you're trying to sell as part of your company. It's usually some, maybe 5 or 10 or 20 different ideas that could be patentable amongst themselves. We have a couple of different hubs that we call them that allowed for the inventors and the lawyers to add in their ideas, figure out which ones could be patentable, and then this will also allow you to run some initial diagnostics on what the invention is to see how potentially patentable it is. And this will be a theme that comes up in a little bit later. The biggest piece that we offer for the lawyers is an authoring tool. So I don't know if you can read all the way back there. But basically, this takes in 2 major pieces of a patent application, the drawing and the specifications drafting, combines them into one, makes it a lot easier to move things around, get claim terminology through glossary terms that we've got. And then at the very bottom, the real-time rule validation. This is a piece of our software architecture that will sort of expose the logical gaps that will often happen as you're writing a very long 30-plus page patent document, notify you pretty much immediately to allow you to go back and fill in the gaps for the patent documents. If you aren't familiar with how patents are written, they're sort of like recipes. And if you skip the important part and submit that at the USPTO, you don't get a patent. Once the application is complete, we will run this application through something called RoboReview, or what we're calling RoboReview. It's an AI analytics program that will do a semantic search of the patent application that's been drafted, compare it to all published and granted patents that are at the USPTO, and give you a likelihood of success that your patent will get drafted or granted. The upside to this is that it will determine which art unit or which department within the USPTO that patent will ultimately go into, find the average grant rate over a period of time that art unit has produced, offer suggestions to get you into higher grant rate art unit that will ideally get your patent granted more. And then the final piece is, if you're familiar with patent prosecution, once you've filed, you are very much not done. It takes years to get a patent granted. So you could have that little patent pending symbol under your item forever while it's going through the USPTO. You'll be issued most likely something called an office action. So once a patent is in your hand and is in the examiner's hands, they're going to find some reason to reject your patent. Maybe it's abstract, maybe there's prior art, something else that's out there that will infringe, or that you would infringe on if you got your patent granted. The examiner will issue something called an office action. It's a rejection based on those specific grounds. We have a program called Smart Shell that will read through the examiner's reasons for rejection and offer suggestions of how to overcome that, whether that's based on an art unit, if there was a logical step that was missed during the patent application, maybe it's too abstract. Smart Shell will give those suggestions and allow the patent examiner or the patent practitioner a better way to fill in the gaps. So it reduces a substantial amount of human time, human error. And with that, we've been around for a little while now, and I'm glad that the 1 minute number came up. We've been around for a while now. We've submitted over 750 patent applications at this point as part of TurboPatent. We have a myriad of clients all the way from, well, the individual inventors, I'm sure a lot of you guys are here or thinking of being, to Fortune 100 companies who take up a bulk of our work. And right now we're sitting at about an average age of just under 45 days from the conception point that we're told of it up until the filing, or for the first draft before it gets filed. Honestly, that could be done in about 1 or 2 days with our software, which is dramatically less than your typical guy who's writing on Word. And I think, that's it. Okay, questions? Yeah.
So I'm a patent attorney, and I just want to say two things. I'm really excited about your product because it can make the cost of getting a patent lower for clients like technologists and inventors like yourself. And in that spirit, I'm curious, what is your pricing model for your products?
Yeah, so glad that you brought that up. So I wasn't talking about this here. Maybe we can chat later, but we do license out the technology for people like you. For people who are in the services, or I guess typical clients, or who would be clients of yours, we offer a flat fee model for inventors who are coming in to get the patent drafted. We have our own services team, but we do license this out, and this is how we got our start, was licensing out the technology to patent practitioners. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Anyone want to ask me how long I've been in Seattle? Where I went to school? I'm so glad that you asked. Okay, question.
How hard is it to parse government data to find potential conflicts? That's got to be a nightmare.
When you say potential conflicts, are you talking about if there's another patent that might be?
That would infringe, that your patent would infringe on. You're looking at a massive data source that I don't know how to differentiate the data, but it's got to be a nightmare to go in there and predict potential conflicts.
Sure. There's absolutely a subjective nature to it. That's true. But the way that patents are written is everything is based off of the claims. So the claims are sort of the boundaries of a patent application that say this piece of IP is mine, right? And so you can go in, we can use our software to go in, determine what those boundaries are, and then come up with a likelihood of success that patent application would have based on the claims of published and granted patents. Now, there is even more subjectivity in that things like provisional patents, which is a step that some inventors will take beforehand, aren't published. Before a publishing happens, we won't know if there's other art that's out there. So we do the best that we can with the information that we're given. It is a massive amount of data, but because of the way that claims are written, we can pretty much come up with the figurative boundaries of what's out there.
Is any of the IP in this service patented?
Yeah, so I think TurboPatent is at 12 or 13, at least published patents. I think we just got an issued patent like 2 weeks ago, and then we're looking to file about 5 more here pretty soon. Okay, I think that was my 3 questions. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sweaty.